So let's do a little recap of what we talked about the last couple days. Mm-hmm. So in the first day, we talked about what makes you unique, identifying your innate gifts and how they are utilized through your external abilities. And we narrowed down your dominant innate gift. Then yesterday, we defined what makes you valuable, figuring out how you utilize your gifts and external abilities in order to make an impact in people's lives, how you connect with people in order to make that impact, in order to narrow down what your unique value is. And then the final statement that we both came up with was, Hello, and welcome back to the UV Effect podcast. I hope you enjoyed that little juicy, cliffhanger there. Allowed us to get us into what we're getting into today. Obviously, firstly, just want to thank you all for returning back, or if you watched the last episode or listened to the last episode, thank you so much for joining me. This is the first time, obviously, with this new format that you guys are going to hear the process, hearing how I go through the UV effect and help someone uncover their unique value. And so I just thought that was such a juicy little way to get us into this process and this aspect we never got into before. Also, I'm going to stop saying juicy because it's just getting weird. Anyway, so yes, in this episode, we are going to be rounding off Marcella's case study, I guess we can call it. This is part 2. We are going to be, in this episode, hearing her UV statement. We're going to just go through that process of how to find that statement. Once again, pulling out highlights from the moments of this process, some of the questions we went through, some of the interesting points that she had made. This episode will be really cool, mostly because UV statement, things like that, is not something that I've talked about just in general on my platform quite a lot, unless you heard my inbound speech in 2015 or 16, whatever year that was. That's probably the only time I've actually discussed UV statement and UV in this in-depth way. So you'll really get to get into that today. You'll get to hear what that means, what that's about, and I'm really excited to introduce that to you all. So without much more talking, let's get into today's episode. So in this part of the process, we are in step 2, define, which is, we're going to get into that in this episode, but in essence, it's defining what it is that makes the individual valuable. So if the first part is about identifying what makes the person unique, this part is about defining what makes you valuable. So we're getting into, again, the statement and other things. Before we get into that, again, I have some series of questions that guide us along this process. And the first question is this. So the first question I have for you is, how would you define value? Just the word itself.
Value is...
Let it be sporadic, I'll write it down.
Okay.
Make it make sense.
The worth based off of the worth of something based off of its limited amount and how it impacts things. So I know it's just
you're good. I got it. I'll let you know what I wrote.
Okay.
So I put the worth of a person or thing based off of its quantity or impact. Does that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
So, of course, this first question, we are just getting into what value is. And I put it in because I asked this question because I want to gauge what the participant is thinking in terms of value. How in their mind would they associate with value? What is valuable? That is really important because if we are assigning or defining our own value, then we need to understand how it is that we perceive value. So I also just want to pose this question to you as well as the audience. How do you define value? What do you define as valuable? What do you value? I think understanding that will help you to understand how much you value yourself and how much work you're putting into yourself in order to be valuable, right, as you see it. Words in this entire process are very important, as you're going to see throughout the rest of these episodes. and understanding meanings behind words and how you associate what you associate with them has weight. So here, as she shares more insight as to what she defines as valuable, I get to really see where she's at, but then also I follow up with a little bit more of the mindset that we should be in as we go about this process in terms of defining our own value.
Like if I'm with someone, they find value in me because I make them feel good.
So this is what I was trying to go ahead and say before. So the experience thing, right? This is something that you'd also often experience with a product or a service, right?
Right.
When it comes to a human being, the word that you used initially would define a lot of that, which was impact, right?
Right. So impact experiences. Okay, I gotcha.
The necessity of importance is connection. If something only becomes important to a person if they connect with it.
It's really good. The necessity of importance is connection.
That's basically what I'm trying to say. And that's why oftentimes you have emotional buys and things like that in terms of products and services. People want something, not because they want it. It connects with who they are, with what they, their own desires, what they want to be, all of that. And so your value and a person's individual value is defined by those two factors. It's defined by one, that you are the one and only like you, and you are the one and only like you that can affect the people that you will affect the way that you do. And the fact is that everybody provides an impact in people's lives daily, right? Whether we know it or not, we are affecting people, we're impacting people with our words positively and negatively. And so what I want to uncover today is not just the impact or that you create on accident, but the impact that you can make on purpose. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight about what we're going to be uncovering in this episode and how we're going to be getting there. So in this next moment, I ask her a question regarding the impact that she makes, and one, it is the biggest or most impactful. This is such an important question, and the answer is really important as well, as it gives you a lot of insight as to what you do that works for people. You know what I'm saying? What comes naturally to you, and more so what happens when you are conscious about being a positive light in people's lives, right? And so this question here really uncovers what it is about her that affects people in a positive way and what she should be paying attention to as she goes along. How would you say you provide the biggest impact, right? What type of situation, what person or people?
Like what time of day? No, just kidding.
Like what situation?
When no, not that. I was thinking when need comforting, but that's not it. When people need a dependable sounding board.
Any other moments that you feel like you provide the most impact?
When people need to know that they are valued.
That's good. And if you could tell me some of the things that you say or do in those situations. So I'm honest. I let them know what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Okay.
And I'm honest. And then I am I speak positive things over their lives, and I share how important they are.
So words of affirmation and such?
Yeah, words of affirmation.
So far what we're seeing with her is that, she provides the most impact when she's inputting something in people's lives. It's, it's not just about, she had mentioned things like being, honest, and, sharing words with affirmation and listening, and there's comfort in that, but it seems more so that value or that impact is really coming in that honesty, is really coming when she's able to speak truth in people's lives in ways that can positively affect their mental space and how they're seeing things, right? And so in this next moment, she is kind of explaining how she feels like she's missing something, and the way that she describes what it is that she's missing, I feel almost sums up what it is that I'm saying here, this aspect of inputting information into people the way that they need it.
feel like there's one thing missing.
Okay.
Something to do with the part that has to do with like the business part. Like not that I know what I'm talking about, but like
you're knowledgeable.
Like,
or
knowledgeable.
Informed?
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like there's a knowledge that I have that I bring. That they feel comfortable like to come to me about certain advice. Like
maybe like a wisdom.
Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
Knowledge or wisdom.
Okay.
Either one
Knowledge
of
or
those.
wisdom. Which tend to go hand in hand anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, knowledge may be like more detailed about the subject matter, and wisdom is just an overall. It's more of a. So yeah, if you say knowledge / wisdom.
I mean, probably even more so you're willing to share it. Yeah.
Yes.
There's some people that are very knowledgeable, but they tend to be quite reserved with it.
True, that's a good point. Not only just having knowledge, but then willing to share.
Which there's value in individual experiences, but this is your value, right? This is how you provide value. You're very open with what you have to share with people.
And funny thing is not, I don't consider myself, I am open to those who value my wisdom.
Okay.
People who don't, I won't share.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is wisdom, right? Knowing who can accept the knowledge or accept what it is that you have to share, who is made for your impact and who you are made to impact. I mean, I've already gotten a bit of ahead of myself at this point, but that is a major, major key to the UV effect and what this is all about. And so, she's saying here, she, is able, what she does best is sharing and inputting wisdom and knowledge into people who need it. And she's very keen and aware of who it is that can receive it, who it is that she's willing to share this, what she has to share with. And that in of itself is wisdom, is that aspect of it. And I feel like the way and the reason that she's able to do this becomes very clear as we get to the end of this, as we get to like the wrap up, we find her statement and everything. Of course, that's the whole purpose of it. But this is a really good kind of peek, a window. Even this question in of itself is that window into that impact and understanding what it is that makes us valuable and why we are so capable of providing that value. So in this next moment, we really get to affirm everything we just talked about here. And, I find her answer, well, firstly, the question that we were addressing here is along the lines of, what it is people connect with about you and why they connect with you. And I feel like her answer here, this part of her answer is both, it's it's like very assured and very confident, while also, she's giving herself room to question and contemplate, what it is people are, gravitating to about her. It's a good answer, and it's a good way of processing.
What I've noticed time and time again from what people have said, going past another layer of friends, is that I'm going to bring the honesty. They don't have to worry. I'm not going to BS you.
Gotcha.
If you're coming to me and there's thoughts about whether it's funny to them or not, because my facial expressions can't hide anything, or they just want an honest opinion about something and they don't feel like they're in a place where I'm going to snap at them about it, like even the hard conversations. So what I keep getting is that, so go back to what I said, comfort. And so I provide a safe place with truth. But with that, it's also the thing that will probably keep people away.
This response here really affirms to me, why I was really happy for her to be both the first episode as well as the first participant in this study, mostly because in the way that she responds in this question, she understands, what she offers to people. And she can, even by her tone, you can tell that she understands who could not handle it, who she's not for. And I think that's just, as I said earlier, it's such an important mindset to be in, to be so conscious of and aware that, we're not made for everyone. We are not for everyone. This is why understanding your impact, especially not just, the everyday impact that you make, but the distinct impact that you make, the consistent impact that you make. Understanding that is so important because it gives us confidence in what it is that we have to offer, and not feeling like we have to offer everything to everyone, but rather offering what we have to those who need it. And I go into that a bit more here after she says what she says about this aspect of her being what it is that would keep people away.
So, which is great.
Well, that's, again, not to get too ahead of myself, but I will just say, you're not meant for everybody.
Exactly. No one's meant. This is what I'm loving. I'm actually loving that was said there. Go ahead.
And there's a line, I forget, I wrote it down, but I had said that not everybody will recognize what makes you valuable, but the ones who do are the ones that should. And this is why this is so exciting for me, because I'm like, and even that you just said that you know that it's also what pushes people away is even more important, because then you know, who do you serve? What you'll learn is that's the question that we're going to be answering on Our Embrace.
Nice.
Serve is what is such an important part of the UV effect.
Yes.
It's the effect.
Yeah.
So, which is really exciting. Okay, cool.
So this next moment is particularly incredible for me because I really enjoy how it articulates the purpose of UV without even it being the intent, what we were doing. It wasn't even intentional here. So she was answering a question about how much she allows this comforting and honest nature to be represented in her professional life, how much people have access to that in her professional life. And her answer really just exemplifies the kind of confidence that comes from understanding yourself in your fullness, not hiding behind persona, or, hiding a shadow, but truly accepting who you are and embracing that and sharing that. And this is a wonderful peek into what UV is for and how it can change the way we see ourselves. And this is something that she has developed in her own span of life, but through UV effect, this is what I'm trying to get people to start seeing now at whatever age they are now. Hopefully, they're, teenagers, maybe a little bit older than that, but in their 20s, whatever. This is where I want people to start getting this mindset now. Her answer is fantastic.
This comforting, honest nature, do you find confidence in it? Do you want to show up with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Even as simple as crafting an email, I try to bring it this caring, not make it overly professional, but I've decided to be like, allow that to come in with the professionalism. Like, don't feel like the need to be like every other financial person, but allow myself to come through it, and I feel people respond to it. I can actually feel their reply is different.
That's really good, because I think that people often craft a person to present to the world.
Yes.
So to say that you, even especially in profession, you're not necessarily crafting this person to present. You're okay with just sharing the person that you are.
Right. Not anymore. I think I used to be that way. I just feel like I've reached that age and a point in my life where I'm just tired of the crafted confidence.
Yeah. I love alliteration.
Right, crafted confidence. Yeah, it's like, no, I think they can find confidence in authenticity.
Confidence and authenticity. Right there. And in this next moment, too, I kind of continue on and I share a little bit of my own story with trying to find confidence in authenticity in where I lacked it before.
And I think for me, I didn't have confidence for a long time, even though I had crafted confidence for a long time. I had confidence in the person that I had created. But then when I realized that wasn't me, my confidence started to drop, and I had to kind of figure out who I was, and then the UV stuff formed from there. And then I started building confidence in who I actually was, and I'm still doing it now as I'm really fine-tuning this.
So if you're very new to this and you are still very curious as to what this process is all about and you haven't quite figured it out yet, obviously it's only the first 2 episodes and I haven't discussed this a lot in open forums like this, but that right there can give you a huge insight as to why this is so important to me and why I feel that it is a part of my own purpose, right, to share this with people. And so it's in order to fight that place that we have found ourselves in this world where we are no longer showing up as ourselves, but a crafted self, showing up with crafted confidence. We need to break that down. We need to unlearn the person that we've designed ourselves to be and start figuring out, or fabricated ourselves to be, and start uncovering the person that we've been designed to be. Okay, so here is where we start to bridge the gap. And by the gap, I mean the gap between identifying innate gifts, which was the last episode, the first step, and defining your value, or her value, which is what we're working towards right now. At this point, we're going to start seeing how these two worlds intersect, how they work together to form the individual's unique value, how to form specifically my mom's unique value here in this episode. We're going to see how these things connect and how they work together. And so just a little bit of recap in case you didn't listen to the first episode, or you just maybe forgot. Her innate gifts that we identified last episode were analytical, imaginative, self-aware, empathetic or empathy, and self-regulatory, right? So these are just some of the dominant innate gifts that we identified in the last episode. And so in order to bridge this gap, I'm basically asking her to tell me if her innate gifts are running through her external abilities, if she's seeing them as a constant factor in not just the work that she does, but the way that she impacts people on a daily basis. So in being analytical, you do believe that is something that's one of your innate gifts that you're utilizing through these external abilities? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that's why people come to me.
Nice. I mean, I'm so glad you said that, because that is huge. So there I got a little excited, mostly because that's kind of where the bridging is happening. If you don't get it yet, you'll get it in a second. You'll start to see how this bridge is forming. That was a beautiful little wooden plank that started forming that bridge, and it'll make sense in a second. Just keep on listening. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. You're imaginative. Do you think that these are what's running through? Most of these? FYI, when I'm saying most of these, I'm referring to the external abilities she had listed earlier. She had listed a few external abilities, skills, and talents that she uses in her daily life. And that's what we're referring to.
Most of these. Yes. Because I think a part of being imaginative is looking at things in a big way. Mm. It's not like, you think about people with a big imaginations. Mm-hmm. It's not this little box thinking way. Yes. It's this world way of looking at things. Okay. So that helps. Being self-aware. Right? Yes, because I have to be aware. I guess it goes back to like that answer. It's like I'm aware of how I want people to feel. Mm-hmm. So I'm aware of what I'm saying that would touch their emotions in a certain way. Mm-hmm. Yes, so self-aware, yes. Good. Empathetic? Yes, because, yeah. People know that I feel what they're feeling. Yeah, they can. And self-regulatory. Yes, because I have to adjust when needed. Chameleon, in a sense, right? Yeah, that is it. That's my chameleon, pardon me. So after this, being able to see that her innate gifts are working through her external abilities and how they're doing it for herself, we can now start to put things into words. We talked about before that your impact is often happening when you're honest, speaking positive things, listening, being there, showing up for people, etc. People connect with you and therefore able to receive that impact. Mm-hmm. I was loud. Receive that impact through your comforting nature and honesty. Mm-hmm. Right? So how then, with that in mind, how would you describe your impact in people's lives? Are you helping someone achieve something? Are you helping somebody solve a problem or bettering their lives in some way? Okay. What is that literal thing, that action that you often do? Definitely help people solve a problem. Okay. What problem? I do that. Like, whatever problem. Like, come to me. So you are a problem solver. I'm a problem solver. Okay. Yes. That is a huge part of who I am. So just with that right there, right, do you see... Now, I'm asking not because I see it, but I'm asking you. Do you see how being honest and comforting helps with you being a problem solver? Yes. How? Especially the honest part, because that ties into the analytical part. Mm-hmm. and practical part. So
How?
Because of the way I look at things in detail. Honest, I can't. If I'm looking at it for what it is, then I have to be honest. It's almost like a robot. It's like facts are facts, data is data. So you're going to be honest with it, and through that honesty, you're getting to the root of something, which provides which can be a
keep going. No, keep talking.
which gets to if they're coming to me with a problem or advice they need, or like those three. I'm going to go back to three of them, but I know I was specifically talking about problem solving.
So as you can probably tell here, we're struggling just a little bit to refine some things and put some things into words because of that word problem solver. So she had, defined herself or her impact as being a problem solver. But one, that didn't necessarily compare or match up with a lot of the previous answers. It didn't seem like it were like her total impact could be really summed up in just solving problems. She seemed to be able to help people in more than just situations where there's a problem. So as we kept going, I could tell that there was this kind of disconnect happening in terms of being able to describe what it is that you do in terms of the impact that you make in a sentence can be very difficult because it can be hard to summarize some of the consistent action of what you do in a person's life is a difficult thing to do. And so in my own mind, I was trying to figure out how can someone better relate to this? How can someone figure out how to describe themselves in this way or just define this for themselves? And I realized that most people, we live in our own bodies. We get to be in our own minds. Most people connect more themselves than really anybody else, of course. So I told her this. What you're doing for others, you're often doing for yourself.
Yes.
So if this is something that keeping in mind your innate gifts, if this is something that your innate gifts naturally allow for you to do for yourself,
everything there, yes,
then it's likely this is what you're doing for somebody else. So think of it in that way. So from there, I really feel like we got somewhere. And so I had her write down at this point what she believed her unique value statement was, right? Just to see where she was at. This process is a lot more hands-on than it would be for a person obviously doing it by themselves. For my research, I need to be there, and they obviously need to be there too, so I can see the process, see how difficult it can be, how much I need to share, how much information I need to share in order to guide somebody along. And so this was really helpful. This particular part, getting this statement down, was just very interesting and very helpful for me to experience, so I could know what is challenging for a person to identify on their own or define on their own. What is difficult for a person to put down in the words? How much pushing, how much additional information does a person need in order to refine this for themselves? But we did really get somewhere, and so she gave me her statement back, and we kind of started tweaking it a bit.
All right, so I put this, but I need to break it down some more. I put, my unique value is creatively processing information in order to help others stretch their mindset to function effectively in times of need.
We're going to edit here, because I think this can be edited down. Mm-hmm. My unique value is creatively processing information in order to stretch others, or stretch their mindset, stretch others' mindsets. In order to stretch.
I even wonder if I do need to put the word mindset. Okay, so the other thing I always say is I'm not in the business of telling girl folks what to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't tell them. I process things. I'm like that sounding board. I said that sounding board so that they can come up and they can solve their problem. Directing.
In order to direct others. You prefer stretch or direct?
I to expand, like stretch part's too important.
That connects with you more. Because that's something you do with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think which is why my physical challenge is literally stretching.
Isn't that funny? That's hilarious. Okay. I love poetic imagery, and that it's pretty poetic. Mostly okay. So just a little background on her. She has developed this initiative called the 4F Initiative, where she focuses on family, fitness, finance, and faith. And so, fitness is a really big thing for her. She's recently gotten really into it, and she's been working on this stretching goal to get into a full split, I believe, by the end of the year. I forget what it was. But it is really funny, that, with the stretching, and obviously she's stretching herself outside of her comfort zone, and she's stretching others. So I just thought that was really funny, the poetic nature of that. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you get why the excitement was there for that. So you're stretching others in order to do what?
In order to get them to see a bigger picture, to see outside the box, so that they can grow past whatever the current situation is.
What is their current situation?
Some kind of need.
Okay.
Because if they're coming to me, they're coming to me because they need a solution. Or it's not even a solution. Sometimes they just need.
Really think about what you do for people when you're helping somebody.
Okay, so the people that truly come to me.
Mm-hmm. And that people that leave having been changed. And when I say change, it's not about this pursuit of changing people. It's more so this natural thing that happens, that when someone, I'm sure we all can experience it, when someone enters into our lives, whether it be positive or negative, they change us. They affect us in a way that shifts the way that we see the world, the way that we do things. And so what we're doing now is we want to see what that change is, how we change another person's life. What are we shifting for them? What do we bring that makes them think differently?
It's about leaving different. Mm-hmm. Leaving me different. When I'm finished with you, you should not be thinking the same way.
Tying together that consistent impact and that connection, tying those two to define the impact that you make. I think that it is found when we see what is the change that's occurring in the person's life. What is happening to them? How are they different after you've entered their lives?
People come to me because they're dealing with something. So,
it may not be a problem.
Could
be something they need help with.
The key thing, people come to me because I'm a sounding board.
Okay.
Not that, Marcella, give me the answer or something. I'm a listener. So they're able to, because of my analytical skills and because of the way I process information, they can bounce, and by the time they're done.
I had accidentally cut her off here on the recording, so I'll finish it for her, but be able to solve the problem for themselves, but be thinking a little bit differently. That's what she was going to say, or what she did say. And so at this point, I will inform you, I've cut out quite a bit in order to keep this short, but we have finally gotten to this point, as she said what she just said there, we have gotten to this point where she's really able to summarize both the way that her gifts and her impacts are working together to form her unique value. And so I come back with this kind of finalized statement that I feel like really hits the nail on the head. Hits the nail on the head. So let's hear it. So my unique value, your unique value, is creatively processing information, right, in order to help others stretch their mental perspective. Period. Gotta hit that period for the drama factor, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'll keep it going.
Okay, say that again now.
My unique value is creatively processing information. That's your that's your unique gifts. In order to help others stretch their mental perspective. That's your impact.
That is kind of simple, ain't it?
If we want to backtrack a little bit, right? Her innate gifts was all about being able to process information. That's how we got that first half, right? It was about being able to not just process, but to creatively, to think about things differently, to look at the information that's being provided and see it from all different sides, right? To analyze it. And she And in that, she is able to make the impact, which is helping other people see their own situations, their own problems, whatever it is, the way that she does. She is allowing others to kind of see how she does by providing her insight, providing different perspectives, providing different angles. She allows people to expand. She helps people expand or stretch their mental perspective through the way that she sees and the way that she processes information. That's her UV. And it's so beautiful because that is exactly how UV works. What you do for yourself is what you are doing for others, and is what you should be doing for others, as it is your positive, instinctual impact. The important thing to realize here is that your unique value is not the UV effect. What you do with your unique value is the UV effect. How it affects your life personally, professionally, and people. And that's what we're going to get to lastly, the embracing of it. But not now. Sorry, guys. This is the end of this episode, and actually the end of our journey with Marcella. But do not worry. Of course, as I said, this is the new format, which means that you are going to be able to experience what Embrace is all about with the next few guests, and see how they experience this process. But I hope that you enjoyed, what we uncovered about Marcella. Ugh, it's so weird to say her name. I keep doing this. I hope that you enjoyed what we uncovered about my mom, and her experience in this and this process. I hope that you could see how this flows and where this goes, and even more so, how important this is into understanding yourself and purpose. In the next few episodes, obviously, I believe in the next episode, I will be sharing the embrace aspect with our next case. I don't like calling them cases, participants, case study. So the next person, I will definitely be sharing a bit of the embrace part with you guys so you can see how that works, because that step is imperative to taking your unique value and putting it to action with intention. But other than that, I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope that you enjoyed this journey with Marcella, that you enjoyed this process. And again, please let me know how you're enjoying this new format. If you like the new format, definitely be sure to leave those comments on, wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it be my website or the podcast app or wherever that is, or send me a DM on Instagram at Gabrielle Jordan INTL. Let me know how you're liking this. Also, if you would like to be a part of the research study and you would like to be a participant, let me know. DM me on Instagram and we can talk, because I would like to have as many participants in this as I can. I'm really trying to build my research on this topic. So yeah, I really, again, hope you enjoy this episode. Be sure to leave comments and likes, and share the podcast with others if you are enjoying what we're doing here. And yeah, I hope that you will join me next episode on the UV Effect podcast with a new guest, a new study, and join me in their little journey in identifying, defining, and embracing their unique value. Have a good one. This sentence isn't saying what it is you solve necessarily. Right. It's just saying the impact that you make.
My unique value is creatively processing information in order to help others stretch their mental perspective. Yeah, that is me too, core.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's just that simple.